Happy Friday, everybody. It's Andrew here with Draft Thunder, and I'm going to break down the Friday night slate of preseason week one. So, really, preseason has been treating us pretty well. Thursday, we had the Hall of Fame game last week, and that was pretty good. We came very close to taking down some GPPs, like one play away. We know some guys profited like $100 that we saw on Twitter. We profited pretty well through that game, and then last night's slate, we've basically doubled our bankroll. So that's nothing to spit at. Like, we should be very happy about that, and hopefully you guys have had the same kind of results as we have. The key that I've found is definitely spreading out lineups, doing instead of like one big one, doing a bunch of like $1 lineups and then having maybe like 20 of them. And then through those 20 lineups, you are able to play all the different angles, and hopefully one of them is successful. So really, with yesterday's slate, we were able to get Joe Webb, who obviously killed it at quarterback. Philip Walker had some issues because Chad Kelly came in and he like threw a pick or something. He was a little bit of a mess. The volume would have been there, but I didn't know about Chad Kelly. I think it's dumb that says he's out on DraftKings when he's not. And then Ravens defense absolutely killed it. So really, if you had Joe Webb and Ravens defense, you were able to build a lineup around that. Add in Holyfield, some other running backs, some receivers who got a touchdown. Like, I know that we said how if you DM'd us on Twitter, we were going to give you a special play. Nobody did. And of course, the special play who we had was the receiver for New England, who ended up getting 2 touchdowns. So he was in a few of our lives, and that helped us be very successful in the slate. We weren't able to take down GPPs. That's just because of incorrect mix and matching everywhere. But really, we cannot be upset about where we're at right now. Going into tonight's slate is a very short slate, and I think that is advantageous to us. I think that we are able to get better read on preseason on small slates because we can look more into each roster more easily, at least. And since it's 2 games, we have all these options instead of just having 5 people to fill 5 positions. So really, I'm excited about today's slate. I think that we are able to take one down tonight, and I really have high hopes. So I'm going to jump right into it. We're going to make this quick video and just bring you guys all the plays. I'm not going to go too much in depth, but just know that these are all researched very well. So we're going to start with quarterback. 2 quarterbacks I'm looking at are New Orleans quarterbacks. Teddy Bridgewater and Taysom Hill. They're the only 2 guys that I'm really looking at on this slate. They're both going to see probably half of action. They're both very experienced. Taysom Hill, I would say, has more upside, but I'd say Teddy's a safer pick. Taysom Hill plays receiver for them most of the year, which is kind of crazy, thinking he's a quarterback, but he's in there a lot as a receiver with those trick plays. So he's very athletic. He's even on special teams. He's a guy who, if I can get half a football from him, I kind of want it. And I don't think you're going to have from anybody else through any of the other rosters except maybe Tampa Bay, who you can possibly sprinkle in Gabbert and Griffin if Winston doesn't play. But that's just something to look at. But yeah, for my lineups, I'm going to do 50% Teddy, 50% Taysom probably, because I think that those are the 2 best options on the slate and the 2 safest with the volume that they're going to get. So moving on to running back, each team I have a running back from. Tampa Bay actually have 2. I have Ronald Jones and Ogunbowale, I think is how you pronounce it. So they are both young guys. Ronald Jones going to second year. Ogunbowale is a rookie. And Brisarian said young guys are going to be playing 80% of this game. They do not want to see experienced guys in this game. Andre Ellington wasn't my pick because he's 3rd on the depth chart behind Barber and Ronald Jones. But what I just said about it being 8% of the young guys, he's not going to get enough volume for me to roster him in this lineup, even though I would mainly roster 3rd-string guys. So, that being said, for me, it's going to be most part Ogunbowale because he's young and he is the next guy up, and Ronald Jones was underwhelming, so I think he's going to see a little bit of action, maybe a quarter to a half, but I think he's also a very good running back. Like, I think he's got a lot of potential. So, I would say for the most part, I'm going to put Ogunbowale in my lineups and then a little bit of Ronald Jones. This week, for this slate, I'm also going to mostly be doing 3 running backs just because I think you get more volume out of them. If they start catching passes, especially on DraftKings, it can be huge for you. Moving on, Pittsburgh, Blake Snell Jr. is the play there. James Conner obviously is not going to play in this game. Maybe a drive with everyone else, all the starters. Jalen Samuels, they saw what he had last year when Conner went down. So Snell's the next guy up. He is apparently very fast, a very good pass catcher also. So they need a next third down back coming out after Conner if he gets hurt or something. So Snell could definitely be that guy. They want to see what he has in this game. I think he'll get a lot of run. He would be one of my other really favorite plays. So it'd be Snell would be one of them. The next other guy who I'd say is even better is Madison right there, who is going to get a lot of run in this game according to Mike Zimmer. He's listed as number 2, so they want to see what he has after Dalvin Cook. They kind of know what they have in Amir Abdullah. Mike Boone and Ham had a lot of preseason action last year, so they know what they have in them. I don't think Henderson and Blasingame show much, but they'll probably be the third and fourth quarter guys. I expect Madison to be a lot in for this first half. And there's so much just saying or showing how good you are in training camp. Mike Zimmer wants to see how this guy does in the game. So I think this first preseason game is for him to show, and if they think he's that good to be the number 2 guy above Amir Abdullah in camp, then I think that he could have a lot of potential for this slate and get in the end zone, catch a few passes, get a lot of yards, maybe even a breakout one. So he's one of my favorite plays. And then also Ozigbo. So he's the 4th guy you see here. You know they got in Kamara. Latavius Murray has shown what he's done. Dwayne Washington, the same kind of thing. Dwayne Washington will probably play a little bit in this game. But Ozigbo should be seeing most of the action along with Jaquiz Rodgers. Jaquiz Rodgers has also been in the league for a few years now. So Ozigbo is the young guy here, the third, fourth string, fighting for the third string spot. But they're going to want to see the younger guy in this first game over the other 2, Jaquiz and Dwayne. And then Zach Line and Burton, I think, are fullbacks. And Days is like, he got waived. If I click on that, I think it says he got waived. Yeah. So it's going to be the same thing you hear from me through beat writers and stuff. They've shown that they really like him in camp. I like the potential here. And him, Madison, and Snell are probably my top 3 if I were to play them in one lineup. But I would sprinkle in all of those guys because they could literally all be successful here. Just make sure I didn't miss anyone. I did not. We'll move on to receivers. So we'll start with Tampa Bay. Watson would be my guy from Tampa Bay. I think that he is a second-year player. Like I said, the 8% of seeing young guys second year would go under that. Perriman, Godwin, and Evans have already shown that they are going to be the starting 3. That means Watson will be seeing a lot of action in this game, being the 4th guy, because those guys they don't care as much about. But he was a pivotal part of the offense last year. He was, I wouldn't say pivotal, but he was in there a decent amount. And we kind of know what he has. We think that he's a great receiver, but he's also young and the second-year player. So he could get a lot of action in this game while being kind of the cemented guy. A big thing about him, too, is this is kind of a narrative. He is a Pittsburgh native, so all of his friends and family are going to be there. If the quarterbacks know that, if the coaches know that, which they should since it's a news article, he should see a lot of run, like I said, and they'll be throwing to him. He should at least get like 5 targets if that's the case, and hopefully around the end zone, and hopefully he'll fall in for one of them. So I really like Watson here. And then moving on to Pittsburgh, we have Juju and Moncrief being the top 2 guys with James Washington. Eli Rogers has had a lot of time in the slot. The other guys, Deontay Johnson, I think, would have been a good play, but he is hurt, and he didn't practice, last Saturday. So he's a guy, if he's healthy, and I hear he's going to play a lot, I'll possibly throw him in. But the main guy for me on this roster will be Tevin Jones. Same thing, just a young guy at camp and shown out, and he's about at the right spot in the depth chart to where he should see live action. Minnesota, 2 receivers I'm looking at are Chad Beebe and Jordan Taylor. So those are the 2 guys fighting for the 3rd receiver spot with Laquan Treadwell. Treadwell is a guy who's been there for a while. He's on the last year of his rookie deal, and the Vikings kind of know what they have in him. So they're going to definitely want to see more out of Beebe and Taylor in this game, and they should see a lot more action than Treadwell. In my opinion, the first half, maybe going to the third quarter for them, so they should get the better quarterbacks to throw to them. I would lean BB over Taylor if I were to choose one. And I probably won't throw them in the same lineup together, but I'll be mixing them in and out of lineups as I go along. New Orleans, we got Michael Thomas, Ginn, Trayvon Smith, Austin Carr, Kirkwood. They've all kind of been in and shown what they have. Same with Rashad Matthews. But a guy who apparently has so much hype around him in camp is Emmanuel Butler. Now, he's a guy who's been making plays all over the place, catching everything very fast. They're going to want to see what he has here. And hopefully we see him make a play, hopefully in the end zone. And hopefully we get at least a half out of him. He's a young guy. They have so many receivers to where I don't see why he wouldn't. So he's definitely in a lot of my lineups. And we got a little Jordan Humphrey, who I believe is an undrafted rookie. He's 6'4", extremely fast. A guy who should see action in the second half. I just think that all offers a lot of potential, and he's also a guy who at training camp they were surprised by him because he was an undrafted rookie who got signed by them. So those are all the receivers I have. Tight ends a little sticky this week. Tight ends is always such a crapshoot. Like everybody out there who does what we do hasn't really been able to pick good tight ends. Like we picked out of our tight ends, like one guy got a catch or something. Yesterday I think Tanyan got a catch. So it can really be hard. We thought Vanette would get a big run, but he was one of the only two tight ends, but I don't even know if he played. He should have because he's fighting for a spot. Anyway, if I'm pick guy on the slate, I really like my odds on the Pittsburgh tight ends because McDonald's going to be the guy, Grimble's the next guy up. The guys fighting for that third spot are Zach Gentry and Scotland Williamson. So Scotland Williamson will be the guy that I will be putting in most of my lineups. He's just a guy who they have said will see a lot of action in this game. So I'm banking on that, and hopefully Pittsburgh uses their tight ends a lot. So hopefully he will see live action. And then I'll throw Gentry into a few lineups. Hope that he it's kind of like hedging myself. So he will also, if it's him being the tight end instead of Williamson, then I'll have at least some exposure to him. But he's our guy fighting for that spot. So it should be those two guys in this game. And really, I just don't see tight ends on other teams that don't look like a mess of a situation to like jump into on the depth chart. So like there's just too many options on our teams. I think Pittsburgh's the right team to go with, and those two guys. But yeah, so those are all the players I would mix and match in the lineups. Maybe do like 5 to 10 lineups with them. It shouldn't be too hard to mix them up. Now defense is a little harder today. Ravens were a pretty clear-cut choice for us. But with defense, I would say the Steelers are a great option. Just with how they fit with the players who we like, really. Going against, like, all of these guys have had a bad history of, like, throwing interceptions, pick sixes, fumbles. They can also show out, though. So that's a little bit of a risky play. All these, Dobbs is athletic. Rudolph has some pretty good experience from last year. So Tampa Bay would also be kind of tough play. But I would go with one of those two defense, honestly, because I think the Minnesota-New Orleans game is going to be a little higher scoring. As you can see here, you could honestly pick New Orleans defense because these guys aren't fantastic. I hear Browning's got a lot of athletic ability, but I hear he's also not great because he's from, I think, North Dakota State. So yeah, and then Minnesota's defense won't touch because obviously we're going with New Orleans quarterbacks, and I think New Orleans has the best scoring upside. I might, I don't know, because most of them I'm going to stack is on New Orleans. So really, I'd stick to Tampa Bay or Pittsburgh for the defenses, and just mix and match the guys who we have in there. And hopefully we should have a successful lineup. This was from both me and Ben. We both made these picks. Like I said, Ben couldn't be with me today because of work, and I have work later, so it kind of makes it hard for us to schedule this. I thought we'd bring this out for content for you guys to watch. Hopefully you can make some plays, take down GPP. Please comment, like, subscribe. Shout us out on Twitter if you can. We would love the exposure. We hope that we're winning you guys money. If you have a winning lineup, let us know. We love to hear that. Like last week when we won some people in the Hall of Fame game some money. Like I know Josh Hughes, I think you DM'd or you added us on Twitter, and we love that. So please do that. And we really hope that we can take down this GPP today and win you some money. And also, one last thing is we have a lot of good ideas coming up. I think let us know down below or on Twitter, mostly down below in the comments, if you like this idea. But we are going to start doing, as the season gets closer, some live videos going up to lock. So like Sunday lock videos going up to 1 o'clock. We just want to make sure that we have enough people that are going to go out and watch it, because if not, it's not worth our time. But we think that there are a lot of plays that come in and out, and it's just our idea to bring you guys more content. So that'll be a thing coming. Then we'll also be having fan contests. So we're not sure what we're going to do yet, but it'll be me, Ben, and a fan who gets drawn by random choice who's like subscribing to us and comments on the video. This isn't this week, but this will be coming in the near future. And if they beat us both, we'll be giving them some kind of prize. So a lot of exciting content coming out, and really, I hope that we can bring you guys the best kind of potential in your lives that you can bring, and hopefully this should be a good day for us. So again, contact us on Twitter, comment below, like, subscribe, and we will see you guys hopefully tomorrow. There should be a video, but we'll tweet out some plays if not, and we'll definitely be back for next Thursday, so stay tuned.